Steve and Jill here.
Good day.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steve and Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about, do you get a better ROI with land or with houses? Or with mobile homes? Or with skyscrapers? Or apartment buildings? Yeah.
Or gas stations? Or
did you guys choose the land over apartments because you get a worse ROI? I don't think so.
Good point.
Is this all happen on accident for you, Steve and Jill? Were you just sitting around and kind of fell backwards into buying and selling land and just hope for the best?
Yeah, what's it?
Swing hard, hope for the best. Yeah. That's how I play golf.
Yeah, it was either this or, that cleaning service that we talked about. I don't know. Could you imagine?
I owned a dry cleaner one time. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Before we get into this, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landacademy.com online community. It's free.
I do remember you saying something about that, by the way. And every time we were anywhere near a laundromat, you look at those coin machines like your eyes light up. Like people put money in for this.
I owned 2 laundromats. I was very young, in my early 20s. And one with a dry cleaning service. And then later in life, I owned a dry cleaning drop-off. Talk about printing money. Mm-hmm. But like the houses, every time we buy a rental house, we own it for about 5 months, do the math and say, if I keep this rental house, I can sell it right now for 3 times what I paid or whatever the numbers are. Or I can just rent it out forever and collect the money. I think I'd rather sell it. It's going to take me I'll be dead before I actually make my money back.
Right.
So we just sell it. That's what happened with all the laundromats and everything.
I understand. All right, so here's David's question. Hi, everyone. I'm getting ready to send out my first mail campaign.
Yeah.
I live in LA. I know I don't need to market close to home, but if all possible, I'd prefer it. I want to be fairly close to a big city, and I also want a place where the land is relatively inexpensive so I can afford to get into the game, buying up multiple properties in a short period of time. What criteria do you all typically use when researching and choosing an area? Population. Yep. I know this is important. Seth from RE Tipster suggests marketing to areas with a population of less than 100 people per square mile.
He's right.
Is that advisable?
Yeah, so you can tell, David, and congratulations. I'm glad you're get that thing in the mail. That's Jill and I are planning a live event called we're going to get this thing in the mail. We're going to look over your shoulder like your math teacher in grade school. And we're going to get this thing in the mail together. So congratulations. I'm not sure, based on the content of your question, that you've seen the program, the cash flow from land program, because I cover it in a huge way. Mm-hmm. I spent a couple hours on how to choose a county. Mm-hmm. I'll synopsize it for you right now. You want to get the population density maps. This is such a popular question among our group of people that I set up a website called, it's all 100% free, called CountyWise, WISE.com. Click on the state and then drill down to the county, and you're going to see a tremendous amount of census data, census maps, a ton of data about every county in the country.
Like
census
backpacks,
tract
how many
data.
backpacks properties there are, because not that you need to hit them, you're not doing it to hit them, but it's information that you need when you're putting your mailer together.
It's a website we set up that's free, and it's truly not enough people know about it. It's a collection. Yeah. You just literally click down through all the counties and get all the information that you need, including all the links to the county itself and all that. Mm-hmm. So Seth is right. Seth is almost right about everything, except his little postcard problem, but whatever. Seth loves postcards. Or maybe he doesn't anymore. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
We send out actual offers. Anyway,
group.
You want to find, you're like 90% right here, David. You want to find a community or a county or an area, a census tract, maybe census block, or however you look at it, where it's about 4 to 8 hour drive out of a major city. That's we send it everywhere, but on your first mailer or so, you want to so for you, if you're Los Angeles, Kern County, San Bernardino County, Eastern Los Angeles County gets really rural. Jill and I are buying 3 properties there right now. Mm-hmm. 3 5-acre properties
Springs,
in Eastern
like Indio,
LA for $5,000 each.
I think it's Indio County out there. That's not bad. San Diego County.
Eastern San Diego works.
Yeah.
Santa Barbara, eastern Santa Barbara, the further you get away from the ocean, the least expensive it gets.
Right.
So if you price it right, though, here's the truth of it. We buy property in LA County all the time, but we don't buy for $150 an acre. We buy it for a lot, and we sell it for a lot. So if you're trying to get 40-acre properties for $4,000 or $5,000, you're going to have to go pretty far out. What's that phrase you have? Drive till you qualify?
Yep. That's exactly it.
So take a look at, if you haven't run through our program, the Cash Flow from Land program, take a look at that about how you pick a county. The secret county is this. You're sitting in it. It's all about pricing.
I love that. Cracks me up.
We have a competitor who talks about
180.
if you sign up with us, I will give you a list of secret counties.
Oh yeah, it went from 4 to 180. It's hilarious. Like where he just makes up these random. I don't understand. There is no secret county. It works everywhere.
Exactly.
It's so good.
In fact, we're going to talk about what works and what doesn't.
Cool.
Land and houses. Today's topic: do you get a better ROI with land or with houses? This is the meat of the show. What do you think, Joe?
What do I think?
You make more money when you buy land and sell it, or
Per
your houses.
transaction, land all day.
Keep going.
All right.
You're absolutely. I'm sure you're right about. Well, you live it.
I do live it. I mean, that's. I'm done. I do everything else. I'm sorry. Can I go now?
Yes, you're welcome to go. Here's the deal. It's a pure example of risk reward. You get a much better ROI with land. Period. You also have a much better chance of hitting a home run with land. You know, we usually double our money with land, almost always. But there's a few times where we strike it rich, man. You hit that vein of gold.
It's true.
Where you buy a piece of property, it usually happens when I make a mistake in the mailing.
Right.
I send out in a county. I'll look at all the 40-acre properties, and I'll send everybody an offer for $4,000 to $6,000, and somebody sends it back and signs it, and we buy a piece of property in the middle of town. 40 acres in the middle of town for $5,000 or $6,000. It happened several times.
It does, and we didn't even know what it's worth. We're like, what just
We end up
happened?
selling it for $250,000, and the person who buys it, it's worth millions. So
that's what we call a run to the bank situation.
Yeah.
I love those. So what happens is, like Stephen just said, the mail goes out, these offers come back. That's when we review them. You don't review them before you send out the mail. You review it when the people come back. Now you sit down and go, all right, let me make sure it's legit. Let me make sure I want it. Let me see where it is. Let me make sure the person I'm talking to is the seller and they can sell and all of that stuff. Well, in that process, we're looking up, all right, let's see where this is. And now and then we go, holy cow.
that's my favorite part of this business.
My goodness, look
Reviewing
at this.
those deals.
It's next to a Starbucks, and it's between Starbucks and McDonald's on a paved road. It is literally run to the bank. It's like, we drop everything. Let's get that cashier's check in the mail. We are closing this today.
So you talk to these people. What do they say?
They have no idea, and they don't care.
They don't have any idea?
Nah, and they don't care. They're like, thank you. I'm so sick of this property. The taxes keep going up on it. I don't know why.
Jeez.
They don't care.
Even
and often,
in all my experience, that still amazes me.
Wait a minute. I just had a conversation with somebody literally yesterday that I said, and the kids don't want it. I was really kind of, I'm kind of making sure, because sometimes what will happen is in the process, not often, but now and then in the transaction, mom and dad will start telling the kids, hey, we're selling this property for $6,000. Any bidders, any higher bidders? And the kids will go, well, shoot, if it's only $6,000, Dad, I want it, kind of thing. So sometimes I'll ask that, because I have this sweetest little old lady. Anyway, and I'm like, and the kids don't want it? She's like, no. They don't care. I'm like, all right, let me get back to you on this one.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's it's true, and she really doesn't care.
Amazing to me.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I was saying, that those are, I love those. It's a run to the bank. So talking about that's going to happen with land.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not going to really happen with a house. We're all realistic. It's a chance of somebody owning a home that they bought for $30,000 in 1959. The chance of them going, you mean it's worth more than $60,000 now? Oh my gosh, I just wanted $60,000.
Right.
That's not going to really happen.
Okay, so the name of the show is a better ROI with land or houses. Well, then you guys talk and buy and sell houses all the time. Why don't you just stick with land? Here's why. You can look into a crystal ball when you write offers for houses. There is so much data available, right down to census block, census tract data about. So when you buy a house, when I send offers out for houses, I make sure they're $40,000 less than wholesale. No matter if it's $1 million house, I make sure it's $40,000 less. If it's a $150,000 house, $40,000. Because I know, based on all the data we collect through Realtor.com and Redfin.com and this is what House Academy, the program's all about, how to collect this data and manipulate it so you don't lose. I also know exactly, almost to the day, how fast that house is going to sell and who's going to buy it. All the risk is taken out when you buy houses. That is why you don't hit a home run. There's a lot less risk and a lot less reward.
However, Stephen, not everyone knows this and knows how to do this.
That cracks me up.
This is what's special about you. Like you just said, it's
special.
like, I feel like it's cheating. But it's not.
It's like printing money.
You have the cheat sheet here.
I know.
And you're happy to share it, and that's going to be House Academy, the cheat sheet.
Right.
But if you really wanted to, people could sit down and figure this out.
So you have to ask yourself, I have a choice. I can buy and sell wholesale houses, and I know exactly how much I'm going to make and how long it's going to take. I can constantly hit base hits right over the shortstop, right over the shortstop's head, and hit a single over and over and over again. My batting average is 900.
Love
or
that.
I can Sammy Sosa the thing. I don't know who's a great hitter right now.
I don't either.
That shows my age right there. At least I didn't say Hank Aaron.
Thank you.
Or worse yet, like, God, who's the guy who's frozen heads in Arizona? I'll think of it in a minute.
Oh, okay.
He was a fighter pilot with George Bush.
I don't know.
Batted 500, regular season 500.
That's awesome.
Ted Williams.
Oh, okay.
His head's literally frozen in cryogenics. Anyway, wow, that digressed fast.
Woo.
Do you want to hit a single over the shortstop's head almost every single time you're up to bat? Or do you want that chance that you can hit a home run every 7th or 8th or 10th time at bat? And but you know, bat 300-400. Which one do you want?
You know what's funny about that? You just brought
I want
up
the singles.
I know. You just brought up a good point. You want the house singles.
I want the singles.
Okay, well, here's the funny thing, though. It cracks me up how people think, oh, land's not sexy. It's not fun. You know what? You have one home run, and you're like, holy cow, what did I just find and buy and sell?
That's why we do both.
Now it's pretty darn exciting, and it just got sexy. I've had that conversation with people. It was so funny. I'll never forget, like, you know, a bank balance is pretty sexy. Yeah, I guess it is.
$500,000.
Thank you.
That's not.
I think that's sexy.
Yep.
But I guess we have different definitions of sexy.
$500,000 in your checking account for a side gig.
Yeah.
Is sexy.
I think so too. Very little work. I love land.
I love land too, but I also love hitting singles constantly and predicting the future and manipulating data. It makes me feel like I'm getting away with something.
I know that you love that. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
That's one of the reasons it's funny that I'll just share real quick. One of the reasons that's why we're together. I know that early on we figured this out, but it was like I found another rule breaker.
I know, Jill, because I never met a woman like you. I got in trouble. Every female in my life, and starting with my mother, was like, why are you constantly trying to get away with something?
Oh. No, and I told
you were
this.
born that way. You're wired like that.
Thank you. We had an interview yesterday, honestly, and I shared this. This girl was interviewing. She didn't make the cut, but I appreciate her attitude about this. She's like, look, I'm a woman. If I don't use that to some advantage, come on. And I'm like, you know what? You're right.
Absolutely.
If you don't use and I don't mean just your woman stuff, but just say, the information that we have. I would look at it that way too. If you don't use the fact that you know what's coming up in this area, or you just uncovered a pocket of properties that you're killing it over here, if you don't just ride that wave and use all the tools you've got, you're an idiot.
Every time this topic comes up, I use taxes as an example. There is ways that you can pay little to no tax without breaking the law at all. Now, is it ethical? Hell yeah, it's ethical. What, am I going to sit around and say, oh, no, I should really pay my taxes? There are people like that.
Yeah. You should add a 0 here. I can afford it. Could you imagine?
And we're going to lose listeners over that.
No, I know.
No,
I'm so sorry.
because I do believe that you have to pay, like, especially here in California, we pay taxes, okay? And
Right.
we get a lot for it.
You know what? I get more kick out of giving when I want to give and donating to where I want to donate. We still
However,
give and help.
You know,
in
our tax rate's certainly not 0, but
No.
it's not 50%.
No.
50% tax rate is for people who have a W-2 job and no other stuff on the side. You're going to be taxed at almost 50%, especially if you make, a lot. If you have a $250,000 salary, you're going to give half of it away.
Right.
Here's another reason to start buying and selling real estate is you need the tax situation.
Oh, good point.
We don't talk about that ever.
I didn't think about that too. That's true. What a benefit this is.
We still write checks, believe me. We write checks in April. But, nowhere near 50% tax rate. If we wrote 50% on what we make, it wouldn't be worth it.
Exactly. I'd be flipping burgers right next to you.
We flip burgers together.
Yeah, how sweet.
Well, you did it again. You spent another 15 minutes or so listening to the Land Academy show. Join us tomorrow. Hey, it's Velocity of Money Week. The velocity of money. Your money. Faster and faster and faster. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode where we discuss the real expense to your business overhead. What are you really going to spend money on? What do you really have to spend money on? Fixed cost overhead in this business.
And we answer your questions posted on our free online community found off of landacademy.com.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. I wonder how many times I've said that.
Which one?
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. Thousands and thousands of times.
The kids, when we first did Land Academy, and you had this one video that was really...
Welcome to Land Academy.
Yeah, that's the one.
I just took that off.
Oh.
It's over.
The kids loved that. They thought that was the funniest thing. They would walk around and imitate you. Welcome to Land Academy. Yeah.
You had this, back then I had this
and the music would jump in.
This Dick Clark radio voice. I was practicing, and I realize now nobody liked it except me.
Shucks. I'm sure the kids saved and downloaded copies of that because that's good. That's going to come back.
If you go back to those original episodes, it's pretty funny. Like the number 1 through 20. It's some funny stuff.
Hilarious.
Every once in a while I listen to it, I'm like, oh my God. That's awful.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking of a reason why the kids would share it. Well, we're not married, so we're not going to have an anniversary party that the kids would throw us. But if we did have an anniversary party that the kids threw us, that I would whip that out I'd bring up the Welcome to Land Academy.
Welcome to Land Academy. That's what it was like.
It was so awful. Oh my gosh. Share the fun. Go ahead.
What if your parents had a talk show? And then after, your dad passed away, I always think about this.
I wish I had it. I'd go back and listen.
I would too.
That would be so
if
cool.
If my parents had a talk show. Or either that or I'd probably throw up about it.
I would love it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's all good. Trying to end this here. Trying to end the pain. Share the fun and pain by subscribing on iTunes or wherever you're listening. And while you're at it, please rate us there. We are Steve and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.